Isang napakagandang hapon po sa ating lahat at malugod na pagbati mula sa Future Earth Philippines. Welcome po sa ika-96 episode ng the Filipino SDG Action Hour at muli nyo kaming samahan sa isa't kalahating oras ng exciting at pakabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa mga paksa na totoo namang napapanahon at tiyak na kapupulutan ng aral at karunungan. At alam niyo po sa hapon na ito, exciting po kasi dalawa pong topic ang pag-uusapan natin. Una po ay sustainable mining at ang pangalawa po ay Semirar Mining Power Corporation or SMPC, Powering Sustainable Progress. At ang swerte po natin sa hapon na ito kasi napaunlakan po tayo ng dalawang panauhin na sila po magbibigay linaw kung paano nila nagagawang maging sustainable ang pagmimina or mining. Ibabahagi po nila sa hapon na ito kung ano po pa yung role ng mining sa SDG at kung ano-ano ang mga practices nila na tutugon sa hamon na makahanap ng tamang balanse sa industriya ng pagmimina at environmental at social responsibility. So sasamahan po tayo ngayong hapon ni Dr. Bernardo Villegas, isang batikang manunulat at ekonomista. He had his PhD in economics from Harvard, and he is also a professor emeritus at the University of Asia and the Pacific and a visiting professor at the IESE Business School in Barcelona, Spain. Siya po ay kilala, best known for being one of the framers of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Diba? Bigatin. And also for authoring a number of widely used textbook po sa economics. And siya rin po, isa pong influential business organization. Siya po yung isa po sa mga founders po ng Center for Research and Communication and the Makati Business Club. Katulong din po nating hapon ay si Mr. Justin Balbin, isa naman pong chemical engineer. Siya po ay merong halos 7 taon na experience working with SMPC na nakabase naman po sa Semirara Islands sa Caluya, Antique. Currently po siya po ang head ng Environment, Social, and Governance Sustainability Department na siya na po nagmamanage ng sustainability projects tungkol po sa livelihood and environmental stewardship. Kasama po rito yung reforestation, rehabilitation, marine hatchery, and biodiversity conservation sa Semirara. Kaya ngayong hapon po, let's all welcome Dr. Villegas and Mr. Justin Balbin. Sir, pwede pong paki-unmute? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mark. Salamat for inviting us here. So, Justin and I will divide our presentation. I will touch on general issues about ESG because I'm sure you people are very much involved in this balancing act between environment, social, and governance objectives of any society. I'm sure ESG is well known to you and your listeners. Now, one of the most important statements I heard from the video is that usually the marginalized are the ones who are the most affected by natural disasters, economic disasters, political disasters. And that's true. The well-to-do are able to defend themselves better. And that is why the first thing I'd like to point out, and probably you heard the President BBM, in his third State of the Nation address, not really being too proud of the fact that the Philippines is one of the fastest growing economies in this part of the world. And in fact, in the world, 6 to 7% GDP growth is now one of the fastest growth rates in the whole world. But he was humble enough to say that doesn't count because 16% of our population are still living in dehumanizing poverty. And I admired him for that candor. And it's true. Growth in itself is not desirable if we're leaving behind some 19 million Filipinos. And that's what's happening. The Philippines has the highest poverty incidence in Southeast Asia at 16%. Yung mga neighbors natin, Malaysia is almost 0% incidence. Vietnam is 4% incidence. Karamihan, tinatawag single digit. Yung ang ginagawa ng Seneda, ang gusto nila by 2028, by the end of the administration of President BBM, 9% na lang. But that's more of a wish than reality. We have to do our part. Now, when you say ESG, as I said, it's environment, social, and governance. In environment, that's very clear. That's what you future Earth people are trying to do. Yung social, the most important thing there, in my opinion, is to eradicate poverty and all the consequences to improve the health, education, and other conditions of the poor. So that's where social is. And governance is to make sure that our leaders really are promoting the common good and are not involved in corruption and other evil things that we know are happening in the public sector. But people forget that there's another E that should be the root of all the other approaches, which is economics, which is the art and science of allocating scarce resources to attain multiple goals and many times conflicting goals. For example, it's very easy to attain high growth rates, even of 8%, if we concentrate the wealth in the hands of a few who will just try to make as much money as possible and they can increase business but leave the rest of us behind. So, which means that economic growth sometimes can conflict with distributing income and wealth more equitably. And that is where we have to be very careful about not being too aggressive in saying we want a clean climate. The first reason is the Philippines contributes less than 1% of the carbon footprint in the world. Ang mga nag-destroy ng environment are the industrialized countries. And therefore, they should not insist that we limit our potential to grow at the expense of the poor because they're the ones who are to be blamed for environmental disasters. And that is especially true in terms of energy. I admire all the companies now that are investing heavily in solar, in wind. But anyone who knows about energy would say that these are not yet profitable and they are high costs. They will not bring down energy prices in the Philippines for some time to come. And because we have the highest energy price in this part of the world, next only to Japan, we have tremendous problems to the poor because the ones who suffer most with high energy costs are first of all the poor. So trying to aggressively promote the so-called renewable energy will impact on the poor because it will take a long time before solar wind can bring down prices, probably another 8 to 10 years. And that is why if you take a look at the long-term plan of the Department of Energy, by 2040, they say that coal will still account for 30% of power supply. And they're being realistic. Now, we are going to talk about Semirara. Semirara has what I call double jeopardy. First, it is in mining. So together with nickel, copper, gold, it can be already accused of destroying the environment because in mining you just have to uh, sometimes cut down trees, sometimes take over some water sources because there's where the mineral ores are. But Semirara, over and above being in mining, is in coal mining, and coal is the dirtiest source. And that is why it is very interesting to see how a company like Semirara is able to, despite these two obstacles of being in mining and being in coal, make sure that the whole island of Samirara is kept very, very clean in terms of environment. Now, my colleague Justin will go into the details of how a coal mining company, despite the handicaps it has, by precisely trying to attain as many of the so-called 17 sustainable development goals that the United Nations has set, is able to be in mining and in coal, and at the same time still keep that balance between growth and protecting the poor and keeping the climate clean. So let me just identify a few of the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, that I saw when I visited Semirara. Justin will take care of as many of the SDGs that we have time for. Probably he will not cover all the 17. We won't have time. But he will have enough uh, examples to show that if the leaders of a company are socially responsible, they will find the means of overcoming the problems of mining, and especially of a coal mining company as regards a clean environment. But let me just talk about what I consider the most important. This has to do with poverty, reducing inequalities. If I'm going to identify what I am impressed most, it is the way the Semerar community has brought down the poverty incidence of the whole area to 8%. So only 8% of the population of Semirara would be considered poor. And as I said, the national average is 16%. And I'm sure those of you from Mindanao know, in Mindanao, it can be as high as 40%. And I was so impressed that because of specific corporate programs, the poverty incidence in the whole community of Semirara is only 8%, already lower than what NEDA is targeting for 2028, because Secretary Balikasan is always saying by 2028, the Marcos Jr. administration will have brought down our poverty incidence to 9. So Semirara already has brought it down below that target. And the other one that I would like to cite among the SDG, the so-called Sustainable Development Goals. So here, SMPC is the one of the pioneers in obtaining what we call carbon credits through afforestation and reforestation. You know, we went to Sumerara in a plane, and the moment you reach uh, the island and you can see below, amazing how you see millions of trees, very verdant, that were planted by management. And so that's why probably some of you are aware of the program of United Nations of getting carbon credit. Those who contribute to a clean environment can sell their carbon credit to those who are contributing to uh, the spoiling of the environment. Like, for example, mining companies can buy carbon credits from people who are planting trees. And it's very interesting how Samirara is able to do both, planting millions of trees and at the same time coming out with coal as the source of pollution that the power plants who use coal are contributing. And this was something that was striking to me. Right there in one island is the two sides of the coin. One, producing coal that can be very polluting in some areas, while you also have afforestation and deforestation. So those are the two things that I was especially impressed with as far as the program of Semirara is. Now I think we can go to Justin so he can detail more of the so-called SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, that the United Nations has enumerated. Mark, you can now introduce
Yes, Justin,
Justin.
you can now go ahead
Yeah.
and set your presentation.
Thanks, Sir Mark. Thank you, Doc Bernie. Allow me to share my slides for a while. All right, Sir Mark, can you confirm if my slides are shared now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we can see it already.
All right.
Can you ask them to, however, to make it bigger, to make it easier to read? Can they can they make the PowerPoint bigger?
Uh, is this adjustable at your end, Sir Mark? I think I don't have the settings for this. So,
No, I
It's not
cannot.
as big as okay. If you cannot make it bigger, I think we just make do with it. No,
mm,
okay, Justin, you can proceed.
all right. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, we would like to express our gratitude to Dr. Bernie Villegas and Future Earth PH for extending the invite to us this afternoon and for letting me share how SMPC has been powering sustainable progress to Semirara Island. By the way, let me introduce myself again. I am Justin Balbin, the ESG Programs Manager of the mine site, and I'm taking this webinar all the way from the island of Semirara. I'm honored to share about the contributions of the company to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals through our coal operating contract with the Philippine government. Established in 1980, SMPC is formerly known as Semirara Coal Corporation. The organization commenced operation in 1983 as a GOCC. The DMCI Group acquired majority of the SCC equity and began transforming its coal operations in 1997. As the company's business and operations improved, so did the quality of life for the residents. This has led to the holistic development of ah, sorry, was okay. This has led to the holistic development of a once impoverished and isolated island in Antique. So let me talk about our host community, Semirara Island. Semirara is an island located in the Kaluya archipelago, which is situated south of Mindoro Island. Coal was discovered in the area in the 1870s, and in 1940, the island was declared a coal mining reservation site by President Manuel L. Quezon by virtue of Presidential Proclamation Number 649. Today, the island houses the largest known coal reserve and operating coal mine in the country. With a land area of 55 square kilometers, it is home to 31,000 people, where 77% or equivalent to 24,000 are from our host barangay Semirara. By definition, it is considered a small island economy. On the municipal level, Kaluya's population is 44,000 as of the 2021 data based on CBMS. This means that 70% of Kaluya's population is in Semirara Island, with more than half or 55% located in Barangay Semirara, driven by its economic activity. SMPC commits to operate in a manner that considers the broader social and environmental impacts of its business. Our goal is to create shared prosperity and long-term value for our key stakeholders beyond the life of the mine. We do this by coming up with a sustainability framework that contributes to all 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, of the United Nations. This This framework supports our role as a socioeconomic catalyst while balancing stakeholders' needs and expectations.
Justin, I just
Yes,
want to ask, is there a way for us to make the presentation bigger?
uh, I'm trying to check if it's in the settings, but I think it's not. Uh,
Justin, maybe you can stop share first and then present the slide again.
okay, okay.
Okay. And then I'll check if it's okay on our end.
Stop sharing. Yes, stop na. Mag-mute lang. Skip na sa. Yan, sir. Kaya
Yan, that's the one.
Great, great, very good.
All right. Apologies for the previous technical glitches. So I hope you can see the slides better now.
Yes, it's better, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Where was I again? Ah, with our um, we commit to operate in a manner that considers the broader social and environmental impacts of our business. The goal is to create shared prosperity and long-term value for our key stakeholders beyond the life of the mine. We do this by coming up with a sustainability framework that contributes to all 17 SDGs of the UN. This framework supports our role as a socioeconomic catalyst while balancing stakeholders' needs and expectations. For SMPC, Semirara Island is the focus of its mission to contribute to nation building and inclusive growth. We prioritize community welfare to create lasting positive social impact. Our Holistic Social Development Plan, or SDP, supports the current administration's key policies and priorities, which are enumerated on your screen. For food security, infrastructure, energy security, health and nutrition, education and human capital, tourism, peace and order, and of course, economic status and prospects. Through our partnership with the Department of Energy in our role in just transition, our SDP is geared towards enabling robust small island economy. In the next slides, I'll be sharing with you our key initiatives for the first 9 development goals. Let's start with SDG 1, which is no poverty. In line with the government's ambition to get more Filipinos out of poverty, SMPC's sustained economic contributions and job generation have helped reduce poverty in its host communities, keeping them well below the national average. Semirara Island's poverty incidence rate is among the Philippines' lowest, with a single-digit poverty incidence based on the latest available PSA data. Coal royalty payments have made Semirara Island as one of the richest barangays in the Philippines. Kaluya likewise benefits from coal royalty payments. From a fourth-class municipality, it became a first-class municipality in 2007 after the DMCI group took over SMPC and began transforming its coal operations. In strong partnership with the Department of Energy, our non-mining livelihood programs are geared towards enabling self-sufficiency and food security of our host communities. Given Semirara Island's geographic isolation, our projects enable resilience through accessible food supply at affordable local prices due to the elimination of inter-island transport costs. Our agro-model farm and the fishing livelihood programs not only bring food to the table, but also augment family income and alleviate poverty for marginalized groups. This aligns with the government's focus on supporting farmers and fishermen to boost domestic food production and achieve food security. We also develop programs for seaweed farming and food production. These projects help fishermen and women in the community who used to solely rely on fishing for their livelihood and offer alternative earnings during inclement weather when fishing is deemed risky or is not possible. Our seaweed chips producers are all women and are family members of the beneficiaries of the seaweed farming project. Through SMPC's 52-hectare mango farming project, locals now have access to free seedlings and free capacity building. From the latest training, 40 seasonal workers are now employed by the farm. Bamboo, pandan, and wood handicraft making is an additional livelihood source for farm workers and their families when farming is compromised by bad weather conditions. The products made by the beneficiaries are sold at the SMPC food court and provide additional income. Moving on to SDG 3, or for good health and well-being, SMPC Infirmary is the only DOH licensed infirmary health facility in Semirara Island. It caters to the medical needs of our employees, their dependents, and the residents in our host communities. Following the infirmary's PhilHealth accreditation last June 2024, community residents now have access to much-needed health benefits from the government. The company is committed to upgrading the SMPC Infirmary to a Level 1 hospital status. We also conduct regular medical mission to our host communities in Caluya Municipality and Tucalaca post-pandemic. Medical services offered by the infirmary include regular health checkups, laboratory services, x-ray services, pharmaceutical services, and we also conduct health awareness webinars. From time to time, we invite specialists in the island to conduct specialized health services like of pediatrics, dentistry, neurosurgeon, ophthalmology, internal medicine, and obstetrics. The COVID-19 pandemic remains the greatest threat that our business has come up against in recent times. The magnitude of our response and recovery also demonstrated our preparedness and resilience and the essential role of our business in the community. For quality education, SMPC's education and skills training programs support the nation's quest for social and economic progress. We aim to open doors to opportunities and help build a better future for its host communities. The company established the Divine Word School of Semirara Island Incorporated, or DWSSII, in 2003. It is the only private institution that offers primary, secondary, and just this year, they also offered tertiary education to Semirara Island residents. The blended tertiary education offered in the DWSSII starting 2024 is in partnership with the Divine Word School of San Jose and LGUs. providing youths in Semirara Island and nearby areas with an opportunity to earn a college degree from an accessible community college. In DWSSII, they offer Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education, BS Accountancy, BS Business Management, and Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. For the school year 2024 to 2025, there is a total of 1,387 enrollees from preschool to senior high school in DWSSII. I also want to mention that dependents of the SMPC employees enjoy free tuition as part of our talent attraction and retention strategy. Mandarin as foreign language is now offered to grades 1 to 3 beginning this school year 2024 to 2025 for the same school for Divine. To uplift and upskill our educators, SMPC has been awarding scholarships to public and private school teachers in Semirara Island to pursue degrees in Master of Arts in Education. Graduates of this program will provide additional manpower to support the DWSSII's foray into tertiary education. We also have our Balik Eskwela program, the Department of Education's alternative learning system in partnership with DWSSII. This program enables SMPC employees and out-of-school youths in the island to pursue secondary education. If you were to visit our Facebook page, SMPC Empowering Others, we are featuring stories called Kwentong Semerara. And one of our feature stories is a family whose members are all graduate of the alternative learning system. Since 2006, SMPC's Semirara Training Center Incorporated, or STCI, has been offering free technical vocational courses to the locals in Semirara Island and nearby islands to expand their employment and livelihood opportunities. It helps upgrade the skills portfolio of our workforce and cultivates community subsistence through skills training and development. STCI is accredited by the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, as a training and assessment center. So there's no need for our locals to travel outside the island for assessment and certification. All students are guaranteed employment in SMPC upon course completion. Some graduates of STCI even found jobs in other countries. In addition to generating jobs, SMPC supports non-mining livelihood formation in our host communities. Our sewing and dressmaking livelihood program enables women in the community to provide additional income for their families. We provide equipment and suitable facilities, skills training, marketing, and logistical support for this program. We also spearhead community-based workshops for marginalized women and help them in the formation of women cooperatives in barangays, empowering them to operate small businesses. Given the nature of our business and the industries we are in, namely mining and energy, we promote a workplace culture in which our women feel heard, safe, and comfortable, and that is our top priority. We acknowledge the necessity of providing equitable opportunities for women, ensuring they have access to the same platforms as their male counterparts. Our President, Chief Operating Officer, and Chief Sustainability Officer is a woman, Maria Cristina Gutianan. Ma'am CCG is also awarded in the 2024 Distinguished UP Alumna Award for Corporate Management Excellence for her commitment to gender fairness, social equity, and environmental restoration in the industry of mining and power generation. Also on your screen, you can see Ma'am Girly Bitara and Krisha Herodias, two of our licensed geologists in the island. For the third consecutive year, SMPC, alongside our parent company, DMCI Holdings Incorporated, were included in the prestigious Bloomberg Gender Equality Index. This index recognizes public firms that are transparent about their efforts to support gender equality through policy development. Moving on to SDG 6 for clean water and sanitation. In order not to compete with the use of limited fresh water in the island, SMPC established 2 units of 7 million liters per day desalination plant and developed the Sanglay Reservoir. These sources supply domestic water to our offices, housing facilities, and nearby residential areas. For end users located farther, like of Barangay Alegria, the company provided a solar-powered water supply system to pump water to 300 households. We also distributed rainwater collection systems to schools as additional source of water to supply their facilities. SMPC accounts for 99% of the country's coal production and export. We provide resilient and reliable baseload power to the national grid in support of the Philippine Energy Security Plan of 2050 by the DOE towards just energy transition. In the mine site scenario, electric transmission lines were installed throughout the island in partnership with Antique Electric Cooperative or Anteco. Company remittance of the royalties enabled the Barangay LGU of Semirara to implement energy security programs and invest in solar-powered infrastructures, solar-powered water system, CCTV system for security, and solar-powered streetlights. SMPC helps create thousands of jobs for Filipinos, both directly and indirectly. This impacts various industries and supply chains and stimulates growth in ancillary services which further contribute to economic development. 54% or rough estimate of 2,400 employees in the mine site are from Western Visayas as of our 2023 employee registry. In addition to generating jobs, SMPC supports non-mining livelihood formation in our host communities. Our concrete hollow blocks livelihood project transforms waste materials into valuable resources. We collect the sand from the material movement done in our coal extraction areas, and we also collect the bottom ash from our coal-fired power plants and use them as raw materials for concrete hollow blocks. This minimizes environmental impact while providing income to local community fabricators. Aside from that, SMPC also invests in upskilling of the local workforce by providing training and employment opportunities in steel fabrication, container van recycling, and repair facilities, among others. SMPC's timely remittance of the government's share in national wealth through royalties meaningfully contributes to economic progress. The company's all-time high coal revenues in 2022 resulted in its highest ever royalty payment of 15.7 billion pesos, firmly positioning SMPC as one of the most important power assets in the Philippines. The Philippine Government Code mandates that 80% of the royalty share from energy operations should be used for programs reducing energy or electricity costs, while the remaining 20% is for community development programs ensuring a just energy transition. These royalties are subsequently distributed to the provincial and municipal governments of Antique and Caluya, as well as to our host barangay local government unit, the BLGU of Semirara. This allocation has significantly contributed to the progress and development of our host communities over time. SMPC's coal shipments generate substantial foreign currency benefits from the Philippines, resulting in foreign currency earnings and savings that reinforce the national economy. SMPC helps its host communities become self-sustaining through establishing physical infrastructures that facilitate connectivity and spur local economic development. In terms of free transportation, we operate 10 bus trips per day from Semirara to Barangay Alegria, vice versa. To support the island's bustling economy, we also operate a fast craft we call MV Maria Cristina with routes from Semirara to Bulalakaw, Mindoro, and another route from Semirara to San Jose, Mindoro. The company supports livelihood formation on the island by constructing a commissary, food court, and wet market. These commercial facilities allow local entrepreneurs to sell their products and services to the community. The commissary is established in 2009, the wet and dry market last 2010, and our food court in 2013. For over 25 years, our company has worked tirelessly to support DOE's energy security plans while uplifting our host community. As our partnership evolves, we hope we can continue working together, balancing energy needs with environmental responsibility and community development. Thank you, everyone. Sir Mark?
Yes, Justin, maraming salamat sa iyong presentation and as well, Dr. Villegas. Maraming salamat po sa napaka-insightful na mga inputs. Dito po nakita po natin na kaya naman palang pagsayawin ang sustainability and responsibility together para po makahanap po ng tamang balanse when it comes sa industriya ng mining. Kasama na po doon yung tinatawag po nating social and environmental responsibility. Pahuli po, message po sa ating mga listeners ngayong session.
Well, as I said, my number one advocacy right now is the agricultural sector because that's the number one solution to poverty. And therefore, we have to interest more and more of our young people to go into agribusiness because when I ask one young fellow, are you interested in going to agriculture? Their immediate says no, because the farmer has a very bad uh, connotation because precisely we have abandoned him. So no young person will ever want to be a farmer. But I remind them, agribusiness is more than farming. Agribusiness is post-harvest, cold storage, logistics, supply chain, processing. As you know, we already are producing chocolate candies through Auro, through the Davao processing that are as good as the ones in Europe. So that's agribusiness. So if we encourage more of our young people to get into agribusiness in any one of the links, farming, post-harvest, cold storage, then we will support the program of the government for food security. All over the world, the most important challenge is food security, starting with China. The Chinese are not interested in taking over the Philippines when they are acting badly in the West Philippine Sea. Their only interest is all the fish that they want because they know they will not be able to feed themselves. No, and so if we can just assure the Chinese that we will improve our agriculture sector to the extent that we will be able to produce enough for our population, but have an excess to export to them, they will stop harassing us because the fear of the Chinese is they will not be able to feed their 1.4 billion people. They don't have the agricultural resources that Southeast Asia has. So that's my last message. Probably in some of your future meetings, you have to focus a lot on what to do with agribusiness.
Yes, Dr. Villegas. So yung po sinabi niyo po and this presentation po will be one for the book. So gusto ko lang pong i-announce na, sir, with your permission, we're going to also publish this session into an article which will be part of a book that we are planning to publish along the way. So, okay lang po ba, Dr. Villegas and Mr. Balbin
No
na
problem.
i-include po 'to sa
Yes,
book? Maraming
please.
salamat
We'll be
po.
glad.
Sir, it's gonna be our
Thank you.
pleasure.
Sige
And I
po.
think Justin can send you a lot of written materials since they
Yes,
have
Justin,
Semirara has produced.
if you can,
Yeah.
we would like to use your PowerPoint presentation. So right now po, we're going to end our program at maraming salamat po sa napakagandang presentation. This will be available po in our YouTube channel, and sa ating pong mga attendees, kindly fill up the certificate that we send out so that we can send you an e-certificate. And Mr. Balbin and Dr. Villegas, maraming salamat po sa pagpapaunlak po
Thank
ngayong
you.
hapon.
Thank you for inviting us. Yes.
So sa ating pong mga listeners, see you again next week sa isa na naman pong napakagandang topics dito po sa The Filipino SDG Action Hour. We all enjoy our weekend. Bye for now.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Ayan, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
Yes, Justin, maraming salamat sa pagbaunlak
Oo,
sa amin
Justin.
today. Ma'am, si Justin po pala ay nasa Antique.
Oo nga.
Opo, ma'am. So maraming salamat po sa pagbibigay ng kanyang oras this afternoon.
Oo.
Ay, ma'am,
Maganda.
meron
Alright.
lang pong, yes, Justin.
Thank you, sirs. I would like to take permission to leave the meeting room.
Sige,
Okay lang.
sige, sige. Sure.
Yes, please. Oo.
Thank you. Thank you po.